In this video, we'll look at the different sections of your Spanish course along with the best way to navigate. You'll see that you have 10 different sections in this course made up of 8 modules. In the first section, called Spanish 1 or Spanish 2 Home based on your course, you'll see an office hours calendar, the course syllabus, you'll see a technology help desk link, along with a folder full of how-to videos. Let's take a look at a typical module. Let's look at Module 2. Here we'll be learning about school. You see that the module is made up of many folders, beginning with a pretest and ending with culminaciones, which is filled with your test and projects. Let's open up the pretest. Each module will start off with a pretest. It has a link to what we'll call the main lesson page, and this page explains to you what will be learned in the module, and then it gives you some information about the pretest. Okay, so it shows to you a module checklist. Okay, when we click the next button, it tells us that we'll need to go back to access our pretest before continuing. But watch what happens if we click next. It skips the pretest and goes right into lesson 2.1. So to avoid being lost in this main lesson page, we always have to click syllabus to go back. We're in module 2, we're in pretest, and we want to open up the folder again. Don't click the main lesson page, we've been there, but click on the actual pretest. It says you have not completed anything for this assessment. What we need to do in order to complete it is to scroll down and click start. For all quizzes and tests, you'll need to scroll down to see the start button. We click syllabus to go back. Okay, so we've completed the 2 items here in the pretest folder. Now let's move to 2.1 classes. When you open up a lesson folder, you'll see that they're all very similar throughout the whole course. They start off with a lesson with vocabulary practice, then you have an actual lesson which has a link to an EdCanvas page. In this case you have 2 lessons back to back, then you have some assignments, there's the main lesson page, and then you have more assignments, and it ends up with a quiz. Let's take a look at vocabulary practice. This takes you to a link, or provides you a link to Quizlet. I've given to you here an image that shows you the different things you can do with Quizlet. When you click on it, it opens up in a new tab, and you have flashcards that speak to you. Click on it,
La escuela.
shows you the Spanish.
El estudiante.
Okay, down below you can test your knowledge, you can play different games, you can print them out and actually make flashcards. Click syllabus to go back. After vocabulary practice, the next link takes you to a lesson on La Escuela. Each lesson page begins with a header to let you know what you're going to learn, and then you see an embedded EdCanvas page. The best way to view this is to click here, Open in EdCanvas. Now it gives you a full screen view of everything you need to know. This EdCanvas lesson has six different tiles in it. To navigate through them, you can watch the videos, you click the arrow to go next. This is another video. After you view it, click next. There's a little game. This one takes you to a page that's kind of busy. There's a lot going on here, so I give you a little help by telling you what exactly to look at. Okay, and it goes on, and it usually ends up with some sort of formative assessment just to let us know where you're at, whether it's a little quiz on Google Docs or it's a discussion board in which you'll communicate with your classmates based on what you learned. Okay, so the rest of these are very similar, as you'll see, very similar to the first lesson. Starts with vocabulary practice, you have a main lesson link, you have some lessons, assignments, and quizzes, and so on. Click syllabus to go back. Finally, you have culminaciones, the last folder in a module. you'll see there's an extra credit assignment, unas canciones. I always give you a couple songs to listen to music in Spanish and to be able to show what you've learned. There's a cultural reading. Here's your project, writing an autobiography. You see a discussion-based assessment. That's going to be important in a second. And then you'll see preparaciones para el examen. So let's say you've made it all the way down here to this discussion-based assessment. You're getting ready to take the test. Let's click here, preparations. Here you see steps to get ready for the test and your discussion-based assessment. I've provided to you all of the objectives, what you should have learned throughout the module, and I've given to you a link that takes you straight to the DBA and exam review page. So it takes you to the main lesson page for the DBA and the module exam. It provides information on every lesson, the ones that you've taken in all the lesson folders. It gives you a vocab link along with some practice on the grammar that you've learned. Okay, what is a DBA? It's that discussion-based assessment in which you'll need to communicate with me in Spanish. We'll have a conversation to help you prepare. You can click the Voki avatar and you'll hear me asking you some sample questions so that you'll be ready for our discussion-based assessment. And finally, one more thing I want to show you. We'll go back. You probably have noticed these green boxes. These green boxes let you know where you've been, what you've done. It doesn't really give you a grade just for being there, but it does show you, it helps you keep track of what you need to do. So completing a lesson folder probably won't be something you can do in one day. So when you log on the next day, you can see how far you've gotten, and you'll know where you need to either go back and review or what assignments you want to go ahead and start doing. So the green boxes usually appear after you've been there for a minute or so. It doesn't mean you've completed it, it just means you've been there. And finally, the last thing in a module is to take the exam. And in this case, there's also a project.